Hello and welcome back to the BMW 12.0 challenge in iRacing. Yeah, that's right, you heard me correctly. We are back in the BMW M4 for another race. You'd be forgiven for thinking, after watching my last video at Donington Park a couple of weeks ago, that I was never going to set foot in this car again. But we've made it so far through the season that it seemed a shame not to finish it off at the final round here at Laguna Seca. Now, last week's round was at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and I don't own that track, so it gave me the chance to have a week off, and I think it probably did me the world of good because I'm feeling a lot more positive and maybe even looking forward to this race. When I entered it, I was fully intending to skip qualifying and start from the back of the grid, just to play it safe and try and rebuild some of that damaged safety rating, but against my better judgment, I did decide in the end to put a lap in, and we posted a 1:33.2. It's actually fast enough for fourth on the grid, and there's a decent gap to the car behind him fifth, more than a second. And I've managed to salvage a little bit of safety rating already just by starting at the back of the grid in the Mazda last week. We began at Donington Park in the rookies, and as you can see there, we've clawed it up to 1.59. After that, I decided to take on a bit of a longer race in the sim lab at Laguna, and once again using the same strategy, starting at the back, taking it easy. We got a really good boost from a 0x race, and our safety rating as it stands is 1.87. Now, normally when you do some safety rating farming like that, your iRating suffers, but I got a boost in that too. A fifth place at Donington Park took me up to 1214, and then I finished 14th out of 32 cars at Laguna, so we're up to 1236. But as we join the live action, ready for the lights to go green, all eyes for me today are on my safety rating. I need to get it up to 2.0 to avoid that licence demotion. I'm only doing one race in iRacing this week, so it needs to be done here. I need an incident-free race, and I need a safety rating boost of at least 0.13. Let's get over to the live action and see if we can manage it. I've got myself in the best possible position off the start. There's a nice gap in front, there's a nice gap behind. We have lost a position, but I'm not too worried about that if we can just get around turn one, and there's chaos already. Someone spun. We had to take a void in action, and I think we've just about got away with it. Yeah, we have. 0 incident points somehow. I think there must have just been a tap to the car in front as he tried to avoid that spin too. I thought we were going to run wide and pick up an incident point that way, but somehow we've survived. Right, deep breath. That turn one incident was exactly the reason why I wasn't going to qualify. I was just going to hang at the back of the grid and give everyone a lot of space. But we have got away with that. Could have so easily picked up 1, 2 or even 4 incident points, if not for the tap from the car, but from running off the track. Right, here comes the next challenge to get around the approach to the corkscrew for the first time. I'm going to brake really early here because I've got a nice gap both in front and behind. The M4 always wants to pull you off to the right when you get on the brakes. It's really difficult to control and slow this car down, but we've made it through the corkscrew, and there might have been an incident behind as well, because all of a sudden we've got a 4-second advantage, more than 4 seconds over the pack behind. So I think there's been a big incident on the entry to the corkscrew there, and that will work in our favour as we see a puff of smoke and someone spun it on the final turn, so that's gained us a position back. Thankfully he stayed where he was and didn't try and rejoin, so we got around safely. And that's lap 1 in the bag, and we've completed it without picking up any incident points, so I'm delighted with that. We're in a good position too. We're lying 5th, so now we've just got to keep it smooth, keep it steady, try and keep with these front 4, and also maintain that big gap to the cars behind, because as long as we can do that, we're going to be pretty safe. Right, let's go back and check out a replay of those first lap incidents, and we'll start with the pole position man, Christian Sprocker. It was him who spun into turn 1, and I can immediately sympathise with him there because it's an identical incident to the mistake I made at Brands Hatch when I led into turn 1 at Paddock Hill Bend, just carrying a bit too much corner speed, and the BMW won't allow it. The rear spins out, and unbelievably everyone manages to miss him. Look at me on the right there, 2 wheels just staying on the track, and that's what saved me from picking up an incident point. We can concentrate on me now from the chopper cam, and we can see just how close I was to getting caught up in that mess. The leader's just about to spin now, and then we see cars go left, cars go right. I decide to go right, but I was forced into it because the car in front of me did too. And yeah, I got 2 wheels on the gravel, but thankfully kept 2 on the track. just. And I suspected at the time there might have been an incident in the corkscrew behind me, and I was right. In fact, it was right behind me. You can see me at the front of the screen there, but the two cars battling behind, Stephen Two-Horn in front, and Greenslade in the all-white BMW behind. Greenslade makes a lunge up the inside into the corkscrew and spins the number 11 car around, and it causes all kind of congestion, and that's what gifted me that 4-second advantage at the end of the lap. And to be fair to Greenslade, although it was a dangerous lunge, it did look like he gave the position back to Talmorn. We're moving forward to the end of the lap now. Keep your eye on the number 8 car of Mark Scherer in second. He's all over the leader, but it's the car behind that's going to cause him all the problems. Brakes too late, hits him from behind, and spins the number 8 car around. Now watch Scherer here, he resists the temptation to try and rejoin too quickly. He knows it's lap 1 and there's all kinds of cars coming by, so he does exactly the right thing at the expense of his own race and rejoins safely at the back. Really good driving. Finding it just a little bit harder to stick with these guys ahead now. That gap is starting to open up. And over my shoulder, I've got Greenslade incoming. I'm pretty sure of that. He's taken a second out of me that last lap. It's down to 2.5 now. And if Greenslade is that much quicker than me, I don't think I'll try too hard to defend when he gets closer. Or as we see the car twitching under braking. And that's a perfect example of what a handful this M4 is. When you get on the brakes, it just wanted to pull off to the right, and I was lucky to keep in control there. Oh, but Amalfi in front hasn't been able to. He's lost it. He's crashed out. And that puts me up to 4th. Yeah, looking at the replay, Amalfi just got on the gas a bit too quickly. It ran him a bit wide. His wheel clipped the gravel, and from then on he's a passenger as he slides out and hits the tyre wall. We saw some safe rejoins with the first lap incidents. This one was a little bit more risky. Ventura coming in. Oh, and he just avoids getting taken out by millimetres there. This is on board with Ventura. He didn't know much about it, but I suspect he was having kittens at that point when he saw the Turner BMW appearing into his field of view. Thankfully, no harm done. Greenslade is going to be appearing in my rear view very, very shortly. He's almost within a second of me now. So that's another second he's taken out of it as we see Zaidi, the car in front, go very wide out of that turn. That might get me a bit closer to him, but I don't want to get too close on the approach to the corkscrew, so I'm just going to keep my distance. Brake a little bit earlier than even I do normally, and that will probably give Greenslade the chance to close up even further. Yeah, he has. It's 0.6 now, so me just taking it that little bit easier into the corkscrew, mindful of what's going on in front of me, has given Greenslade a real sniff now. He's going to be coming surging up behind, so I'm not going to make it too hard for him to pass. In fact, he's gone for the racing line, so I'm just going to veer over and let him go right through. And now hopefully we can tuck in behind him. I think it's safer for me to be back here in 5th with a bit of space than trying to battle with Greenslade, who's clearly so much faster than me. Yeah, Greenslade was carrying some real speed in these final 2 turns. I wasn't expecting him to make the pass quite so soon. I thought it would more likely come on the start-finish straight into T1, but when I saw him approaching on the racing line, I thought it was the safest thing to do, just to get out of the way for the sake of preserving my incident point-free race. Back to the live action. Oh, is Greenslade going to have a look up the inside of Zaidi into that left-hander? He certainly thought about it, but decided against it. But Greenslade is looking in a hurry to get around Zaidi here, so let's try and stick with these guys, because you never know. There could be a catastrophe. They're racing with each other this close. Greenslade going up the inside again into the corkscrew. This could get messy. We could gain positions here if it goes wrong, but it looks like Zaidi has sensibly backed out of that and given Greenslade the position. Yeah, that was really close. Too wide into the corkscrew is pretty terrified at the best of times. Oh, but there's a cloud of smoke and someone's gone out. I don't think it's Greenslade. No, Greenslade and Zaidi are still there, so we've lost someone else from the front pack. Yeah, looking at the replay, it was actually Jamie Smith, the second place driver in the red BMW here. He's right on the leader's tail coming through the corkscrew, but he just gets a bit greedy on the gas. And we're in lap 5 of the race. You think the tyres and the grip would be up to speed, but no chance. Look at that rear just step out. It just goes to show no matter where you are in the race, you've got to be so careful in these M4s. They can bite you. Oh, and again, under braking, the car just steers to the right, and it takes all your might on the wheel just to try and get the car pointing back in the right direction again. That was a warning sign. I was starting to feel a bit more confidence in the grip and the tyres, but clearly, even though we're on lap 6 now, the car still doesn't grip that well, so that, yeah, was a warning sign. We came close to drifting wide at the corkscrew there, and that would have been an incident point, so we were lucky to get away with that. Let's just try and settle down. We've got a good gap behind. Jamie Smith behind now is 4.5 seconds down the road. So we have got a bit of time just to be a bit more cautious. And oh, the car just won't steer again. It wanted to turn to the right again under braking. Oh, if I didn't know any better, I would think that it was damaged, because that's 2 major pulls to the right within the space of half a lap. And just keeping the car straight is a real challenge now. I don't know why, but we're on lap 7, so we've probably only got a couple more to go. So let's heed those warning signs. Really try not to make a mistake, because we're so close to getting an incident-free race. We've still got 4 seconds to Smith behind. All right, the gap's almost 4 seconds to Zaidi in front, but I'm not worried about that. We're lying in 4th. It would be a great result to finish 4th, but more importantly, it would be a great result to come home with 0 incident points. But we've still got a bit more to do yet, and we've got another corkscrew attempt approaching imminently. So I'm going to brake even earlier this time. I don't want a repeat of last time, and actually we've tried to overcompensate and drifted to the inside this time. And oh no, that has cost us an incident point and a slowdown penalty to boot. So I'm just going to ease off and try and get rid of that as quickly as I can, but that'll allow Smith to close in, no doubt. But yeah, really frustrating there. The warning signs were there. The car wasn't braking well. I tried to overcompensate, broke a bit earlier, and also tried to steer to the left a bit to try and overcompensate for the pull to the right. But I just got a bit too out of shape, went in too deep, just clipped the gravel, and we've got 1 incident point. But let's just try our best now to make sure we don't get any more. We're on the last lap, so we've only got 1 more to do. What's the gap looking like? It's down to 2.5 seconds to Smith behind. That should be enough without any more mistakes. And yeah, Zaidi ahead in 3rd position. He's 6 seconds further up the road now, so he's gone. But let's just try and keep this thing on the tarmac and keep it facing in the right direction for 1 more lap. We'll take 4th, we'll take 1 incident point. Whether that'll be enough to get me over the 2.0 safety rating, we'll have to wait and see. It might just do it. We've got quite a few turns at this Laguna Seca track, so it might just be enough, but we will see. But most importantly is not to get ahead of myself, because we've got another corkscrew yet, and we need to do it a lot tidier than we did a lap ago, that's for sure. Full concentration here, taking it easy, much smoother this time. Oh, and that's the leader in the wall. Oh, he was reversing back onto the track then. I had a panic attack for a moment. I thought he might clip me, but we got around, and I think that's put us up into a podium position. What on earth has happened there? We'll check out the replay once we've crossed the line. But an unlikely podium position here, because the leader has crashed out with half a lap to go. Incredible stuff. Well, there we go. After a season of ups and downs, admittedly more downs than ups in this 12.0 challenge, we have ended on a high with a podium position.
There's the flag. It's over. Good job.
It was a good job, but was it good enough to get that 2.0 safety rating back? No, it wasn't. Agonisingly short. We gained 0.12 and we end the season with a safety rating of 1.99. Can you believe it? The podium finish will do a lot of good to my iRating though. We've gained 50 points there, so we're up to 1286. But yeah, the safety rating, I'm not too worried about that. It's 0.01, and I think I could afford myself a little time trial later in the week just to poke that above the 2.0 mark to make sure I don't get demoted a license at the end of the season. So yeah, all good there. We'll take that result. But let's go and have a look to see what happened to the leader. Jan Zulist, and actually he's not the leader now because Greenslade's overtaken him by this point and he's getting harassed by Zaidi, and look at this, a huge punt, and Zulist goes flying off at the corkscrew and rams the tyre wall. That BMW is toast. You've got to feel really sorry for Zulist as he rolls down the hill and just avoids taking me out. That was me going by, and he's going to try his best to finish the race on 3 wheels. But yeah, really frustrated. I'm sure he was furious because that's a second place that he's had taken away from him on the final lap, and he got a bit wide there, and that gave Zaidi the chance to have a look up the inside, but there's no room and he still goes for it. There's a bit of contact there, and you'd think that would have been a warning sign just to ease off a bit, but it wasn't. There's more contact, and Zulist is sent flying off at the corkscrew. So, for the final time this season, let's check out the classified results and a podium to end the campaign. And it's actually my 4th podium of the season in the 12.0 challenge. I got one at Oran Park earlier in the year. Then I got another one at the Charlotte Roval, and the 3rd one at Brands Hatch. Just the one careless incident point, and that cost me the chance of getting a 2.0 safety rating. We're on 1.99, but as I said a little earlier, I'm not too worried about that. I'll jump in a time trial and make sure that gets above 2.0, ready for next season so we can keep our B licence. And just before we bring the season to a close, let's take one final look at the championship standings. And there I am in 14th place in Division 5, so I'm really happy with that to finish in the top 20. So the only thing left to do now is put my mind to what championship I might like to race in next season. I can safely say I won't be in the BMW M4. It's been a chore this season. It's been a real slog. All right, there's been some good points. Racing against Fernando Alonso was a great highlight. Picking up a few podiums and a few good races, but there's been a lot of downs and frustrations as well. So yeah, I'll say goodbye to the M4, and I may look instead at the Skip Barber series. I may even consider the Spec Racer Ford series. But we'll wait till the calendar comes out next week. We'll see what series are running what tracks, and probably I'll just choose the series that I own the most content in, so it costs the least to enter. But yeah, we'll have a look when the calendar comes out. In the meantime, thanks for following my championship campaign in this 12.0 challenge. It has been fun all in all. I know I've whinged and I've moaned, but yeah, I have enjoyed it, and I really do appreciate all your support throughout the season. And yeah, hopefully you'll join me next season too. Until then, cheers.